Planning for retirement should not be difficult. There are really three essential questions. Number one, what should retirement look like? Number two, how much is it going to cost? And number three, how you going to pay for it? Now, with all of that said, there are a lot of very critical questions, and probably the biggest one, the biggest debatable question is when to take Social Security. For the purposes of this video, let's talk about taking Social Security when you're first allowed to at age 62. So for today, I have 4 reasons why it may make sense to take Social Security at age 62 and 1 reason not to. Before we get into the reasons, let me share with you some of the numbers. So here's what I did. I took somebody who may or may not be me, who was born in May of 1966, who has a primary insurance amount of $3,750. Primary insurance amount is another way to say full retirement age benefit. So if you're not aware, when you take at age 62, you're going to get less money than you would at full retirement age, which for somebody born in 1966, anybody after 1960, is 67 years of age. After that, there's something called delayed credits, and that takes you up till 70. At 70, that's when your benefit can no longer go any higher. So nobody waits until after age 70, I guess unless they forget. So I put my primary insurance amount in the computer. And I said, what if I live to age 78, which would be less than life expectancy? That'd be calling it a day pretty early. If I live to age 78 and I collect at age 62, I'm going to get about $649,000 of Social Security benefit. If I collect at age 67, which is my full retirement age, then I'm going to get about $696. That break-even point for me is probably around age 76 or 77. That's the point at which I would have been better off waiting to collect depending on how long I live. And the best example of that is if I live to age 90, if I was to collect beginning at age 62, I would get 1.2 million. If I waited until 67 to begin collecting, then I would get 1.6 million. So you can see that's a big difference. That's why people say to wait. But a lot of people, for one reason or another, they don't want to wait. They want to get their money as soon as they're able to. Some people think the Social Security is going to go away. Some people just don't like the government. Some people just want their money. If you're new to this channel, I'm Daryl Rose, and I'm an independent fiduciary wealth advisor, retirement planner in Chicago. All summer long, I'm going to be doing something called Retire Palooza. New content about retirement topics that are important to you each and every day. Make sure to subscribe. So I promised you 4 reasons why it may make sense for you to take Social Security at age 62. Here they are. Reason number 1 is you just need it. I spoke to a guy the other day. He needed his Social Security. He didn't have other sources of income. He was having trouble finding a job. He needed to pay his rent. He needed the money. If that's the case, then you just go ahead and collect because it doesn't really make sense to wait. What does it matter? You need your money. So that's reason number 1. You need it. Number 2 is you're not super healthy, right? So I showed you this example. If I live to age 78, that's not a lot of lifespan. And so if you're not healthy or you have pre-existing conditions, or maybe if your parents passed away early, any of those sad characteristics in your life, and you just don't think you're going to be around that long, then it makes sense to take it as quickly as possible. So that is certainly something we keep our eye on. The third reason is you want your other money to grow. You don't want to spend that money, so you'd rather take your Social Security benefit. So here's what I mean by this. When I plan for retirement, I break retirement down into 5-year increments, most of the time from age 65 to age 90. 5-year buckets. So the first bucket would be 65 to 70, 71 to 75, all the way over to 86 to 90. So let's say that somebody retires at age 65, but they're not going to collect Social Security until age 67. That's 2 years. Where's the money going to come from? They have to pay their bills, so they need some income coming in. So they collect Social Security. So let's focus on ages 65 and 66. If we are collecting Social Security beginning at age 62 or 64, 65, then we have money coming in. If we have money coming, we don't need your other money. We can continue to let those investments grow. See, what I can do is I can determine with taxes and healthcare and all the other variables in your retirement just how much money you're going to need age 65 to 70. If you have Social Security coming in, it means I need less of your investable assets in this bucket right here. I can let your money continue to grow because I need money some way, somehow, either Social Security or to use your investments as a source of income for you to live on. So that's our third reason. You want your other money to grow. I have a fourth reason why it may be okay to collect Social Security at 62, but before I get to that, I want to share the one reason where I don't think it makes sense. Now, this is very controversial. People like to argue with me about this all the time. Maybe they're right, maybe I'm right, I just don't know. But let me state my case. A lot of people who don't need that Social Security benefit think to themselves, I'm going to collect at age 62 and I'm going to invest it. Now, you may be really good at investing. I hope you are. You may be collecting Social Security and putting it into an up market, a long bull market. Sure, that's very helpful. So maybe you can do it now. Maybe you'll be able to invest that money and keep it going for 5 more years or 10 more years. But at some point, you're going to either not want to do it, you're not going to want to invest that money and keep going, or you're going to lose the aptitude to do it. We know that cognition declines as people get older. What a lot of people don't know is that there are numerous studies that show that as people get older and their cognition declines, they think they're better investors. In other words, their confidence in their ability increases as they're losing their cognition. It's a dangerous, dangerous combination. So I think that it makes sense to collect at age 62 for a multitude of reasons, but I don't think one of them is the fact that you're going to be so good at investing for the rest of your life that you're going to be able to overcome the effect of not having a higher Social Security benefit by virtue of collecting or claiming for Social Security a little bit later. Okay, so what's the fourth reason why it may make sense to collect Social Security? You don't need it. There are a lot of people who, whether it's through guaranteed income from a pension or wealth or living condition, how they live, whatever the case may be, expecting an inheritance, there are a lot of people who just don't need the Social Security. They don't need that increase. So they may fall into the bucket of, it's so insignificant in their future, why not just collect it? So that's our fourth reason. So for the example I gave you here, I'm just doing like a single benefit. I didn't count what happens if you're married or have other characteristics. At the end of the day, what I can tell you is that if you're married, these decisions are much more important. I'll give you just a little quick taste of it. If I am married, as I am, to my very favorite first wife, Jill, I want to make sure that I delay taking my benefit because if something happens to me, Jill's benefit goes away and is replaced with my benefit. That's known as a spousal benefit. So if something happens to me, then she's either going to get her benefit, which would be half of my benefit, or my benefit. So I want my benefit to be as high as possible. One of the reasons why we do wait is because we're married and these decisions are not made in a vacuum. All right, so let's review. 4 reasons why it may make sense to collect Social Security at age 62. You need the money, so you just can't wait anymore. You need the money. You're not super healthy. You don't think you're going to live that long, that it doesn't make sense to defer. It makes sense to take it and get as much as you can. You want your other money to grow. In other words, you want your other investments to grow. You don't want to be taking out of your other investments for living expenses, let's say when you're 65 and 66, that kind of thing. So you think, I'll just collect my Social Security and I'll just live off of that. That's the third reason. The fourth reason, you just don't need it. It's just not important. All of this, when you take Social Security stuff, it's just not important because you're set up well in a number of different ways. That's number 4. The one reason I think not to do it is if you're going to collect it and put it in the stock market and you're going to do better with that strategy for a long time than you would have benefited by letting your benefit grow by 8% a year, which is what happens when you wait to collect Social Security. That benefit keeps increasing. Again, it stops at age 70. So it makes sense to collect somewhere in that range. I don't think it's a great idea to collect the money and invest it. I hope this has been helpful. If you like what I'm doing, please subscribe to my videos, and I will see you soon. Thanks for watching.